Hey, Weather Warriors, in this video, we're talking about a weekend storm that could track across the eastern United States, also in the western U.S., around the 21st through the 22nd here as we head towards the weekend. I'm going to talk about snowfall potential, thunderstorms, rain, and much more. Before we begin, click the subscribe button below, and welcome to the channel if you're new, because we have in-depth forecast breakdowns daily, much more in depth than you would see on TV, and a huge community of weather enthusiasts. So we're going to begin here, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the upper levels first and kind of look at the energy flowing throughout the atmosphere here. Now, as we get towards Friday here and into Saturday, this is what we're going to want to watch here. Well, if you look at the energy here, there's some ridging out here in the western United States towards the Rockies, but a little cutoff energy trough, it'd be lower than average heights here, height anomalies, is actually tracking into the east coast of the United States. Now, we're going to use this to kind of look at snowfall potential. Also, the west coast, there's some troughing sitting off the coast, and there's going to be little blips, little storm waves that move through the northwestern United States this weekend as well. So this is going to, we're going to have to watch this. Now, as this moves to the east, watch what happens here as we go towards Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Now, this thing really starts to deepen here. So it looks like a nice little wave. The issue is, it's a very impressive looking storm system, and this is going to continue as it moves off coast. There's a lot of warm waters out here. So the storm system is really going to blow up as it gets off to the coast. The issue is there's a lot of ridging out ahead of this thing, and even above it, there's a lot of ridging as well, higher height anomalies. So this thing's kind of on an island here, and with these types of systems, they're slower moving. This one's pretty powerful. When it gets off the shore, there's going to be a lot of rain with this thing, but this is going to shut off the snow potential just a bit, the ridging out ahead of it. We'll look at that in a second. And again, we'll look at if sometimes the storms can generate their own cold air, which we'll examine here in a second. Here's that trough out in the west. That's going to deliver a little bit of a punch as we head towards the weekend here. But as you go towards Sunday, look at that thing blow up like a bowling ball here, right off the coast, right into those warm waters, blows up. So we're going to have to watch this very closely, because if this thing really gets cranking, sometimes these storms can generate their own cold air through latent heat processes, and that can enhance snow potential to the northwest. This trough is moving onshore now, and so the main wave is starting to move onshore towards Sunday. And so the northwestern United States could receive something all the way out, maybe even potentially to the Rockies, as there's a little wave out there too. Ridging right across the central United States. So it's going to be very warm and dry in the plains towards the Midwest. It's going to be a little bit cooler in the Midwest, but for the most part, that's what Sunday looks like. And then as we head towards Sunday night, that troughing moves into the southwestern United States. Will start to slow down there on Christmas week and continually bring precipitation for the southwestern United States. Meanwhile, this energy that we're talking about in the East Coast moves off, starts to weaken a little bit, but the best threat is going to be right off the coast into just immediately inland across the mid-Atlantic region of the United States. So we're going to look at the different precipitation fields here, and this is going to be very, very fun to watch here. I think what we'll do here is we'll go towards Friday, then we'll zoom in so we can get some regional views here. This is Friday evening. As that trough is sitting out there, there's going to be a nice wave that moves into the northwestern United States. And I've been talking about this for a while with that pattern change video I did a while back, but a nice belt of precipitation on Friday evening across that region right there towards Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Here's your low pressure system kind of sitting out here, very weak at the moment. So the plains, and generally speaking, all the way out to the Midwest, not really going to get affected by this thing, as this thing is still trying to organize. It's just getting its act together right now. So a little bit too late for the Midwest region and the plains. But a little front here, kind of sitting out here with some precipitation starting to build in. But as we head towards Saturday, as it moves to the east, kind of cycles. So there's your older low pressure system. New one kind of develops right off coast. And as that energy in the upper levels increases, so does the low pressure system at the surface. Here's your low and your front kind of sitting out there. And you got a pretty good pressure gradient here temperature gradient, but it's not quite strong enough for snow at the moment. There's your 540 line, kind of your average virtual temperature being freezing in the atmosphere. But look at your high pressure systems. They are all the way up to the north. Now, I know there's been a lot of hype with this system being a snowstorm. With this type of look, I just don't see it. You got a low pressure system over here. Typically, you'd want a big old high pressure sitting over there and a very strong one, and you'd want to see it progressing kind of along and to the south, but just don't really see that. There's a lot of warm air kind of sitting out here, but there is a lot of moisture, and this storm system is very powerful, and there might just be enough cold air for some wet snow. We'll have to watch that. Again, I'm banking on this being mostly a rain event, but in the upper elevations, kind of in the Appalachians, perhaps maybe a heightened chance. Again, we'll have to watch this, because look at what happens here as we head towards Sunday at 7 p.m., or this is Saturday at 7 p.m. Here's your low pressure system right here. Lots of moisture getting kicked in. Very warm waters off the coast. There's your cold front right there. And you can see that really good stream of moisture kicking in. These types of systems are usually slow moving, so there's going to be a lot of heavy rain out here in the Carolinas and just off coast. But sometimes these systems, when they produce a lot of precipitation and when they get really wound up, the potential is there for rapid cyclogenesis or bombogenesis this year. If you can kind of get something like that to occur just off coast, sometimes you'll get dynamic cooling with latent heat processes. Okay, sometimes the storms will release heat, and sometimes that'll cool down certain areas, the profiles of the atmosphere, and you'll get a little patch of snow on the backside. Usually it's right in the middle of the deformation band, just to the northwest side, right in the middle of the comma. And it's usually kind of in the middle of the band where the heaviest precipitation's falling, and along and just to the north of that. And you can see that's actually occurring here on the GFS in the Appalachians, all the way up from North Carolina to Virginia. So we're going to have to watch that region right there. Obviously, the track's going to change a bit between now and then, but I would raise at least a slight chance for that scenario to occur here in the East Coast. Again, I'm banking on this being rain, but if this storm can do some dynamic cooling in that region, we'll have to watch it. But nonetheless, lots of precipitation getting streamed into this thing. Out west, you can see that front, and you really see multiple waves that move in. So there's going to be a couple of waves. Like I said, I've been thinking around that time period, you're going to get 2 to 3 punches that move into the northwestern United States over the next weekend. So that's that, and then you got your high pressure system, but it's way off to the north, and then you got a low out here, so not a whole lot of cold air to work with this particular system. Going to be a warm East Coast storm, or if it goes farther northeast, maybe a nor'easter, whatever. It's going to be mostly warm. Again, at least a slight chance at some snow activity. You can see it as we head towards Sunday. It moves to the east, kind of hangs around. Really low pressure system now. That's 970. So this thing could have bombogenesis potential as it moves off coast. Again, if that occurs, there's at least a chance for some snow. And you can see plenty of precipitation getting wrapped all the way around this thing. So it's a very powerful system. We're going to want to watch either way. Very windy near the seaboard and off the coast here, with winds probably, I would guess, look at how tight that pressure gradient is. So even though there's no core of a high pressure sitting by, this low pressure system is just so strong itself that it's going to really create a crazy environment itself. And wind speeds could be looking at that 20 to 30 to maybe even 40 miles an hour in some regions off to the northwest of that thing. Obviously heavy rains as well. As we head towards Monday, this thing really gets cranking and moves offshore. Look at that, 969. Looks a little overdone, but still pretty crazy as that moves offshore. So that system is a powerhouse. And then actually out behind it, you're going to start getting warmth again. That moves into the central and eastern United States as we head towards Monday. Now, that's the GFS. What I'm going to do is look at the European. We'll actually zoom in. And like I said, there's a better bet on Friday and Saturday to get precipitation here in the northwestern United States. As you can see, as we head towards Saturday here, a big old wave on Saturday and another one on Sunday, kind of exiting. And that doesn't quite get to the coast, but at least California. Now, let's look at this storm in the southwestern United States. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in, and we'll go ahead and do a southeast view here if they have it. So we'll go to the mid-Atlantic here. This is probably going to be our best view. And as we head towards Friday here, here's your precipitation out ahead of this thing. And actually, that's really not the best view, but you can see it all is off coast. So the European computer model is actually a lot warmer, and it's a little bit farther to the east with that precipitation and south as well. So you can see here, the European has been consistently warm with this thing. There's a high pressure system sitting out here. Low is really just kind of weak, not overly organized, but there is some moisture streaming and precipitation in the southeastern United States. A little clipper out here, and your big wave slamming onto the shore. This is around Saturday in the morning, but as we head towards Saturday evening, your low pressure system, whoops, go back to that, you can see it's much further south. So this is Sunday at 1 p.m. You can see this thing is way off the coast, and it's much weaker too, 999. So really not overly impressive, but because it's cut off, and sometimes with these weaker low pressure systems, they kind of just dilly-dally around, and you can get a widespread, just kind of light to moderate band of precipitation that sits around for a while. But obviously this is all off coast. You know, there is a little bit of moisture up here. That's a little system out here too. So, but overall, I'm not expecting anything crazy for the far northeastern United States. It'd be something to watch, but probably very light for the most part, as that's a weak low pressure system. The main show is down here with that cutoff energy. And again, it's all rain on the European computer model, does not have much cold air to work with at all, and it stays off the coast for the most part. So you can see that really just Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, maybe parts of South Carolina and North Carolina as well, as as you head towards Saturday night into Sunday. Just for kicks, we'll look at the GDPS, but again, just not overly seeing snow on this one. GDPS just doesn't really have this thing until Sunday, and you can see it kind of develops off the coast. But you can see how that when that low pressure system really gets cranking, it does pull a little bit of cold air down. This is your average virtual temperature being freezing. Doesn't always mean there's going to be snow. There's other processes involved, but with this look, sometimes you do have that heightened potential for snow kind of on the northwest side. So it's going to be something we want to watch. But either way, going to be some rain at the southeastern United States all the way up to the mid-Atlantic region. And again, a slight chance at some snow, particularly in this region right here. Again, if this, all we're talking is a couple of degrees, 1 to 3 degrees, if that improves, the snow potential substantially increases. But again, dealing with warm air issues, it'll be tough to do that. But if it does occur, we'll definitely make another video update. And with this dynamic system, especially if the GFS is right, you're going to have a lot of moisture with this thing, and it's going to be something we're going to want to watch in that region. But either way, the northwestern United States, as you head towards Washington, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, going to see some good rain and snow. And we'll look at the snowfall amounts. It's a little bit far out there, but we'll just look at these for fun at the end of the video here. And really, for the most part, you're going to have much above average snowfall here in the northwestern United States. We're talking feet of snow, particularly in Washington, where you really, this model in particular with those waves that keep punching into the west coast of the United States, like I say, you're going to get 2 or 3 good waves this week, particularly this weekend. You'll get 1 or 2 good punches, and you could get a couple feet of snow and maybe even a few feet in the upper elevations, obviously the mountains. These waves are going to kind of die out. There's going to be some ridging in the central U.S., and they're going to die out. They're not going to really make it really past Idaho or Montana, and they're going to be weaker as they move on shore. But still, Idaho and Montana dealing with, feet of snow, 1 or 2 feet, some areas even more than that. Colorado and the rest of the Rockies dealing with snow, but just not a ton of snow. You can obviously see some snow in this region right here. Like I said, these waves are going to kind of die out as they move on. So you get a little bit, a brush of snow, but the ridging will kind of kill off those waves just a bit. Now, the GPS obviously isn't forecasting any snow for that region, but we'll look at the GFS just for fun here. Obviously, this is going to change. So, but you can see the GFS. You can just see with just a couple of degrees difference with some dynamic cooling and with that rapid cyclogenesis occurring immediately offshore, all of a sudden the Appalachians, western parts of the Carolinas, look at that. 1 to 3 feet in that region, 1 to 2 feet. So all of a sudden, you can just see very finicky details here. Small little shifts can dramatically change the outcome for that region. But like I said, I'm buying the chances that it's going to be rain for this area. That's my forecast. Like I said, I think this is going to be too much warm air to deal with. Your best bet at snow, again, if it does occur, will be up in the upper elevations there. But like I said, I think it's the best bet for rain is going to be in this region right here. And then a slight chance at snow, about a 10 to 20% chance. But again, if anything changes and, if those positions of those highs and lows set up favorably, I'll make some more videos in the future. And we'll definitely look at this particular storm in more detail because we are getting into the thick of winter here, getting close to the holiday season. So very important time period. We'll definitely look at that in the future here. So if you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button. That's going to wrap it up. Comment below something. I don't know. Just comment below. Have some fun down there. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.